Planning and Zoning Committee, we are able to get started now. Thank you for your patience. So that countdown for Metro Nashville Network is 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. Well, thank you again, everyone. This is the Planning and Zoning Committee of the Metro Council. Today is Monday, April the 4th. I will quickly take the roll. So I am present. Councilmember Bradford is absent. Councilmember Gamble is present. Councilmembers Hager and Hall are absent. Councilmember Murphy is absent. Councilmember O'Connell is absent. Councilmember Parker is present. Vice Chair Rutherford is present. Councilmember Sepulveda, I believe, is on her way, but not here yet. Councilmember Van Reese is present, and Councilmember Welsh is present. So I do detect a quorum. Today's agenda, we have a lot of things that have amendments, so it will take a little while to get through a lot of those. I'm going to quickly look through and see what items we could do on consent. What I believe that we can do on consent are items number 3, which is Resolution RS 2022-1451. Item 4, which is Resolution RS 2022-1459. Item 5, RS 2022-1465. Items for bills on second reading, item number 6, Ordinance BL 2022-1131. Item 7, Ordinance BL 2022-1163. For bills on third reading, Rosenberg over next door. Let's see. Do you think I should hold that one off? I haven't. Hey, Matt, or Lisa, have either of you heard, does Councilmember Rosenberg want to move forward with his bills? We haven't heard either way. Okay. I'll hold off on those since Councilmember Rosenberg can join us later, hopefully. And then item number 13, which is Ordinance BL 2022-1106. Councilmember Parker.
Item 7 off consent at the sponsor's request.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. So we'll do a deferral instead?
Yeah, that's, yeah, either.
Okay.
Otherwise,
all right, so I'm advised that number 3 we need to pull from consent as well. So let me go back through that quickly. Sorry about that, everyone. That would be items, consent would be items 4, Resolution RS 2022-1459, item 5, RS 2022-1465, item 6, Ordinance BL 2022-1131, item 7, not item 7, and item 13, which is Ordinance BL 2022-1106. Does anyone have any of those items that needs to come off of consent? All right, then I will read the captions for everyone, so appreciate your patience. So the consent agenda begins with item number 4, which is Resolution RS 2022-1459. The sponsors are Councilmembers O'Connell, Withers, and Young. Authorizes Rutledge Flats LLC to construct and install an aerial encroachment at 622 3rd Avenue South. Item number 5, Resolution RS 2022-1465. The sponsors are Councilmembers Johnson, Allen, Withers, and Young. Authorizes Metro government by way of Metro Water Services to enter into a facility encroachment agreement with CSX Transportation to construct, use, and maintain culverts in the railroad right-of-way at Hogan Road and Regent Drive. Item number 6, Ordinance BL 2022-1131. The sponsors are Councilmembers Murphy, Withers, and Young. Authorizes Metro government to abandon easement rights located at 410 42nd Avenue North and 410B 42nd Avenue North, formerly a portion of Alabama Avenue, except for those retained by Nashville Electric Services. And then finally, item number 13, ordinance BL 2022-1106. The sponsor is Councilmember Welsh, authorizes building. Councilmember Welsh, we've got actually an amendment for yours for item 12. Should we just take those together? Yeah. Okay. So that is our very brief consent agenda. Can I call on Vice Chair Rutherford to make a motion on the consent agenda?
Motion on the consent agenda.
Thank you. Is there a second? All right. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. Hearing none, the consent agenda is approved. Alrighty, so let's dig right into our items that do need discussion. So the first one is Resolution RS 2022-1326. The sponsor is Councilmembers Gamble, Withers, Hall, and Toombs. Requests the Metropolitan Planning Commission and Metro Planning Department review and amend as needed the current general plan for Nashville and Davidson County, Nashville Next, a general plan for Nashville and Davidson County no later than June 30th, 2023. And we do have a substitute, and I will call on Councilmember Gamble.
Thank you, Chair. This substitute would better explain, give a background on the Nashville Next document, what it is, how it was formulated back in 2015. It also specifies the areas that council members have spoken with the planning department about for review. And lastly, it also discusses the process for the review. So it's a much more detailed substitute for the resolution, asking that we review and update as needed after the review, if an update is needed, areas in the county as it relates to the Nashville Next plan.
So would you like to make a motion on the substitute?
Yes, please.
Okay, so it's this motion on the substitute. Is there a second? Thank you. Any discussion on the substitute? All right, seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? And please speak up. So I believe that I heard none opposed to the substitute, so we have the substitute added on, and so now, Councilmember Gamble, if you'd like to move the bill as amended.
Motion to move the bill as substituted.
Resolution as substituted, thank you. Is there a second? All right, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say nay. All right, so that item is approved as substituted. Next, we have item number 2, which is Resolution RS 2022-1443. The sponsors are Councilmembers Parker, Allen, Suara, and others. This resolution declares surplus and authorizes the conveyance of real property to certain nonprofit organizations and housing grants not exceeding $15 million, roughly, from the Barnes Fund for Affordable Housing to certain nonprofit organizations selected for the express purpose of constructing and rehabilitating affordable or workforce housing, and we do have an amendment on this one as well. So, Councilmember Parker, would you like to move the bill, and then we can add the amendment?
Yes, Chair, I'll move the bill.
Okay, and then Councilmember Van Rees.
Yes, just to explain the amendment, it's just a housekeeping amendment. The zip code was incorrect on one of the Woodbine properties, and so we're just correcting that for the record.
Great, thank you. So, so you've moved the amendment?
I'm sorry, yes, I moved the amendment.
Okay, and is there a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion? Councilmember Allen, let me... Go ahead.
Thank you for recognizing me, Chair. I just need to go on record saying I'm taking my name off, not because I'm not fully supportive of this, but I'm on the board of one of the organizations, so I can't be a sponsor.
Got it. Thank you so much for letting us know about that. All right, so Councilmember Van Rees.
Yeah, thank you for a moment. I just wanted to explain in the packet that everybody got, I'm sure that we're going to review it again in Budget and Finance, it sounds like as well, but the Woodbine Community Organization has 2 projects, and it says District 2 and 8, just addressing the District 8 one. That is 1 million of the 3 million. It's not separated in the packet to let you know that. That represents 48 of those units. And it also does not let you know about the wonderful collaboration that we've had with Woodbine in regard to this particular location, which is the historic location of the Starday King Recording Studio. There was a parcel next door that they had already had underway, and then when they acquired it, they worked quickly with us and are working with Metro Historic, the community, folks that are experts in regard to restoration, and will be kind of restoring the history of the building, if not the building, and are extremely excited about that collaboration, and along with this, and a lot of the residents that will be benefiting from the homes that will be being built with some of this money will actually be able to be in a place where the historic Starday story is told, including the sessions that took place with Jimi Hendrix and with James Brown. So with that, I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that. I'm sure I'll repeat this again. So when people look up the address, they don't freak out a little bit. But I'm very excited about this, and again, appreciate the collaborative spirit of Woodbine.
Thank you so much for that explanation. All right, so we have a motion and a second on the amendment. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. All right, so now, Councilmember Parker, we have your bill as amended.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to move the bill as amended. And just to note, I've asked Ms. Brown from the Office of Housing to give us kind of a breakdown of all these awards at the Affordable Housing Committee, which is the next committee meeting in this room. So there will be kind of a more detailed breakdown of that in that committee. So with that, I'll just renew my motion to approve this as amended.
Great, thank you. Is there a second? Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. All right, the resolution is recommended as amended. Next, we have item 3, which is Resolution RS 2022-1451. This approves 2 option agreements authorizing the purchase of properties comprising part of the Global Mall site. And I know Councilmember Stiles is not present. Hannah, would you like me to give you an explanation? Okay. Okay, you are a sponsor. It just says others after a while, so yeah. Would you like to give an explanation about the procedural?
So this is an item that it does not by rule get automatically deferred, but our office is recommending a deferral because the companion bill to this will be deferred by rule tomorrow night on the floor. So just recommending a deferral of this resolution.
That's totally fine then.
You're free to discuss the resolution, just. Okay.
Okay, so Councilmember Parker, you're moving a 1 meeting deferral?
I don't know if I want to move it. I don't know. I'd be on the mic here. Can I ask, Hannah, has staff discussed this with Councilmember Stiles?
I believe so. I was going to say, not me personally, but I do think that it was discussed with Councilmember Stiles.
Okay. I didn't sign on in order to do anything that Councilmember Stiles doesn't wish to be done with her legislation. So I don't know. I would much rather know that Councilmember Stiles was aware that that was the plan and that she understood that.
Thank you. I certainly understand that. Councilmember Gamble.
Thank you, and I understand and concur with Councilmember Parker's assessment. My question is, though, if the sponsor is not here and we don't have a letter, would that then recommend a deferral, automatic deferral by rule, and then it could be on,
Well, we do have a sponsor that's present.
oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, gotcha. All right.
I'm sorry, what happened?
The question is, would it be deferred if the sponsor's not here?
So technically,
Councilmember Van Rees?
I'm willing to sign on in order to make the deferral, if that's helpful.
I was going to say, there are other sponsors in the committee, so I think a motion needs to be made. It wouldn't be automatically deferred just because Council Lady Stiles isn't here, because there's other sponsors of the bill present.
All right, so Councilmember Parker moved for a one-meeting deferral. Is there a second? Thank you. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? All right, so we have a committee recommendation of a one-meeting deferral. All right, item number 4 was approved. Item number 5 was approved on consent. Item number 6 was approved on consent. For item 7, did we have that one pulled? Yeah. Okay, so I think we're up to item number 7, which is ordinance on second reading BL 2022-1163. The sponsors are Councilmembers Allen and Suara. This ordinance amends Chapter 2.213 of the Metro Code to create a funding mechanism to support the implementation of the Inclusionary Housing Incentive Program. Did we have any? Looks like Councilmember Allen would like to speak to that. So.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm not on this committee, so I can't actually make the motion, but I will explain. This is one of several tools that a number of folks have been working on, just trying to create more options to make it possible to build housing affordably in Davidson County. There's another tool being offered that people are more comfortable with and want to focus on, and therefore I'm going to defer this indefinitely and its companion bill as well. We may bring it back later once we see what the pilot option does. But for now, I would ask that someone move to.
Oops, I'm so sorry about that.
All right.
Councilmember Parker.
I'll move indefinite deferral.
Okay, great. Is there a second? Any other discussion? All in favor of the indefinite deferral, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, so indefinite deferral is our recommendation. Great. Now we are up to item 8, which is ordinance BL 2022-1166. The sponsors are Councilmembers Hauser, Allen, and Withers. This approves a lease agreement by and between Metro government, acting through the Board of Education and the Bellevue Civic Association, and we do have an amendment from Councilmember Hauser as well. So I'll go ahead and recognize Councilmember Hauser. Actually, could I get as well? Could I get a member of the committee to move the bill?
I'll move the bill.
Great, thank you. And then I'll call on Councilmember Hauser. All right, Councilmember Hauser, you're recognized. Thank you.
Thank you. And do you want me to speak to the housekeeping amendment first?
That'd be fine, yeah.
Yes, the housekeeping amendment that was brought up today was the fact that the original contract said that this was going to be a charter school, which it is not. It is going to be office spaces for Bellevue nonprofits. And Hannah, do you want to add anything to that?
It was, just to clarify, it wasn't the contract itself, it was a recital in the resolution. So it was really more of just a copy-paste error in the resolution. So the contract is not changing. This is just the first recital.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And we are really excited about this in Bellevue. This is the top floor of what was previously the old library on the first floor and the firehouse in the basement. We are not taking over the basement level, but we are going to be utilizing the top floor, which was the library. It has been sitting vacant for nearly 3 years, and there was no other use within Metro for the building. And this has brought together 7 Bellevue nonprofits under the heading of the Bellevue Civic Association. They formed that LLC for these nonprofits to be able to sign a lease with Metro. So this is going to provide an opportunity for the various nonprofits in Bellevue to have a space where they can meet and provide resources to the community. The West Precinct is going to be offering their youth programming at this site. The Bellevue Foundation will be reviewing applications for funding. All these wonderful things that have not had a place to be before are now going to have a place to be. So it's sort of going to be the hub of nonprofits for Bellevue, and we are really excited to finally, after many months of negotiation, been able to work out this lease, to be able to properly utilize this property. About $100,000 so far has been raised for renovating the property, which the nonprofits will be covering in their entirety. And the lease that will be with the Metropolitan National Schools will cover all expenses. So it's of no cost to Metro for this. As I say, we are just really thrilled, one, for the leadership within Bellevue, be able to get, if you can imagine, boards of 7 nonprofits to actually agree on anything, that is like major. And to be able to commit themselves to funding this lease is pretty tremendous. And it just points to the strong leadership that I'm fortunate to have in my community.
Well, thank you so much, Councilmember Hauser. That's very exciting, and it sounds very much in alignment with some of our recent public comments that we received. So that sounds great. Is there any other discussion on this item? Councilmember Parker, if I can call on you to move the amendment.
I'll move the amendment.
All right. Is there a second? All right. So any other discussion on the amendment? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? So the amendment's recommended. Now for the bill as amended.
I'll move the bill as amended.
Is there a second? All right. Thank you. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great. So that is recommended. 7 in favor, 0 against. Next, we have item number 9, which is ordinance BL 2022-1167. The sponsors are Councilmembers Sledge and Taylor. This approves a lease agreement between Metro government and the Nashville Soccer Club for part of a parcel of property at 1441 12th Avenue South in Nashville. Can I just, while you have the mic, can I call on Councilmember Parker to move the bill?
I'll move the bill.
All right, thank you. And then there's an amendment as well, and I'll call on Councilmember Sledge.
Thank you, Chair. This amendment just recognizes the work of the Friends of the William Edmondson home site, who have been working in partnership with an MPD and with Nashville SC to put this together. And it also mentions they have a letter of understanding between those entities to make sure that this doesn't preclude any of that. But with that, I'd ask somebody on the committee to move the amendment and the bill.
Move the amendment.
All right, so we have the amendment before us. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great. And now for the bill as amended.
Move the bill as amended.
Great, thank you. Is there a second? All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Wonderful. Would you be able to ask Councilman if what he wants to do, if he wants to approval of his bill? So I'll move items, Rosie's being good enough to check with Councilmember Rosenberg for his wishes for items 10 and 11. I'll go ahead and move those to the heel, and then we'll take up items 12 and 13, which are from Councilmember Welsh. These are ordinance numbers BL 2022-1105, amends Metro Code by changing from RS75 to SP zoning for property located at Toggle Avenue unnumbered at the eastern terminus of Morton Avenue, comprising 1.64 acres to permit 8 multifamily residential units, all of which is described herein. Item ordinance 221106 is the companion piece that addresses materials, and we do have an amendment, and I will call on Councilmember Welsh. Hang on a second.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to move my amendment.
Great, thank you. Is there a second? All right, please go ahead.
Thank you. This amendment actually corrects a typo in the height requirements and brings it up to a maximum story of 35 feet, which is keeping in line with what the community agreed to in terms of how the houses will look within the development. So that just corrects that typo.
Great. So we have a motion and a second for the amendment. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? So we have, we're on for 1105 at least. We're on your bill as amended.
Thank you. I would like to move my bill as amended, please.
Wonderful. Second, all in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? No. Any abstentions? Great. So that one's recommended. Now we have 1106 and Councilmember Welsh.
I would like to move 1106, please.
Wonderful. We have a second. All in favor, please say aye. Don't we read the caption again? All right. So legal advice is to read the caption. So authorizes building material restrictions and requirements for BL 2022-1105, a proposed specific plan zoning district located at Toggle Avenue unnumbered at the eastern terminus of Morton Avenue, comprising 1.64 acres. The proposed ordinance requires certain materials to be restricted in the construction of buildings. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Wonderful. That's all right. And now we're just down to Rosenberg.
Rosenberg wants to defer one.
Okay. For both.
So you take them together.
All right, so we are almost at the end of our agenda. I appreciate everyone's patience. For items 10 and 11, I'm advised that Councilmember Rosenberg is requesting a one-meeting deferral. I'll go ahead and read the captions. So for item BL 2022-1100, the sponsor is Rosenberg. It approves an amendment to Metro zoning code by amending a specific plan for properties located at 5754 River Road and River Road unnumbered, approximately 750 feet west of Charlotte Pike, zoned SP, R40, and R80, to add 5.9 acres to the SP and to permit 160 multifamily residential units, all of which is described herein. That's 1100. And then for 1101, because I know that legal counsel would like me to read that one as well. The sponsor is Councilmember Rosenberg. This is an ordinance to authorize building material restrictions and requirements for BL 2022-1100, a proposed specific plan zoning district located at 5754 River Road and River Road unnumbered, approximately 50 feet west of Charlotte Pike, zoned SP, R40, and R80, comprising 16.47 acres. This proposed ordinance requires certain materials to be restricted in the construction of buildings. Can I get Vice Chair Rutherford to make a movement to move a one-meeting deferral for each of these two items?
Certainly, I move one meeting deferral for both items.
Thank you so much. Is there a second? All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. Well, thank you, everyone. I know we got started a few minutes late, and hopefully we can get right back on track. This concludes the business of the Planning and Zoning Committee, and I will turn it over to Councilmember Parker for the Affordable Housing Committee. Thank you.